This is the Everything Weight Loss podcast with Shari Ware, where we talk about everything, all things, anything to do with weight loss, health, and wellness. So today we're talking to Beth Elaine Haynes, who is a multidimensional energy alchemist who combines her many skills to help bring to her clients their highest needs. As a born master channel, psychic medium, empath and intuitive healer, Beth also embodies many beautiful healing modalities such as Reiki, Theta Healing, massage, Bowen, hypnotherapy, and is currently studying kinesiology. Wow, that's a lot of amazing modalities. Thank you so much for joining us today, Beth.
Oh, Shari, it's my absolute pleasure. And when you hear it read out like that, I just sort of think, wow, you've been a busy girl. It's been an amazing journey, and it's been my own personal journey of healing as well. I just didn't pursue these modalities for my clients. I pursued them for myself first.
Okay. So tell us more about that.
Okay. I'm a natural, a master channel. So I've been channeling since I was a wee child. And I can remember as a infant and a young girl, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and still, by the way, and I'm not a wee child anymore, the angelic realms and the masters and all kinds of energies and entities that you only read about in books, or they say are supernatural, or they say are unseen energy fields. So I've always been surrounded by the angelic realms. I've always been surrounded by the masters. My bedroom was like going to Disneyland every night. I could hardly wait to go to bed. Wow. Because my room would be filled with angels and Jesus and all these amazing masters that used to take me on journeys with them, that used to talk to me. I can remember going to school as in primary school especially, because I remember this day specifically for some reason. And I used to sit underneath the netball courts. There was benches there, and you could sit there against a fence, so I could lean back and have my sandwiches. And I'd always have, like Jesus and Mary and a couple of archangels and all these people around me. And I never knew that I was alone.
Wow.
So I never knew that when people looked at me, all they saw was me sitting there having lunch and talking my head off to all these energies that were always with me and still are always with me. Yeah, so I mean, and I was very fortunate. I was only talking about this to a woman the other day, that I was never bullied about how I was or who I was. I don't know why, because you would think that I stood out. I stood out because of my aloneness. So it was, even though I had lots of friends and all those sort of things, but it was, yeah. And I can remember when I did my my first reading when I was 8 years old, and it just, I couldn't contain it any longer. I could see all this stuff happening around these people. I could see all these visions, and I just came pouring out of me, and I virtually haven't stopped since.
Wow, that is amazing and beautiful, and everything rolled up into one. So that started the journey with all the different modalities?
No, my illness, my first modality, I've always had healing hands. People used to say, you've got healing hands, Beth. So we are naturally equipped to heal because we're empathic beings. So I just happen to be a hypersensitive empathic being. So I'm very sensitive to people's energy. I'm very sensitive to the news. Although my husband's been a great desensitive for me, which has helped me be able to be more open in life, which is great. So, yeah, I'm the sort of person that will cry if you were to raise your voice at me. Oh, wow. So really, really hypersensitive human being. So I've got a thicker skin now, So I have better relationships with people. I'm able to have conversations with people. So I've grown a more mature person. But my healing modalities first began when I was a fitness instructor in my 30s. I'm 63 now, so it was over 30 years ago. That I've always been a person involved in fitness, though. Sports captains, represents teams, all that sort of stuff. But as a fitness instructor, I was training athletes as well. And one of my runners, who was getting ready in the 1980s for the Olympics,
Wow.
he was trialling for the Olympics, and he sprained his ankle doing sprints. And I had a triathlon club that I used to coach, and I was a fitness instructor. And one of my athletes, or two of my athletes, got injuries in the same week, which led me to, I don't know how to help them. So that led me to my first modality was injuries.
Oh,
So I went to the Echuca School of Tactical Therapies down in Victoria, and I learned how to do strapping and icing and work on ligaments and muscle sprains and strains. So if ever any of my athletes injured themselves, I was able to help them and myself. And then that led to remedial massage.
Okay.
Remedial massage led to Bowen therapy, and I knew that I wanted to do kinesiology back 26 years ago. But when I was diagnosed with cancer, and I had to have, I ended up with 7 major surgeries in 5 years, and lots of my internal organs are now gone.
Wow.
But that led to my energy healing work with Reiki. That led to Reiki, and so Reiki led to Theta. Theta led to I can't remember, but yeah. So and now I'm hypnotherapy. So I didn't do anything for about 25 years. And then I guess I was waiting for the right teachers to come along. So since in the last few years, I've done hypnotherapy. So I'm a clinical hypnotherapist now, and I'm halfway through my certification as a certified kinesiologist. So yeah, it's been a journey of passion. It's been a journey of wanting to help myself heal and to understand, being able to gift more to my clients as well. So yeah.
So lots of different tools and techniques and modalities to help yourself and the people that you work with as well.
Yeah, well, Theta Healing helped me understand the angelic realms and guides and guardians and the energy of the auric field, and how, how hypersensitive I am, how to clear negative energy from me, how to clear spaces and all these sort of things. As a natural born intuitive, you've got a fairly good idea of how to do most things, but it's good to be actually trained to know, there's a guideline that you can make your own, but there is a guideline, because people have been doing this for eons and eons and hundreds of millions of years. So to be able to learn their experiences, to be able to facilitate what is proven to be true, just makes it so clearer for me. And it also acknowledges what I knew naturally, like I knew that I was hypnotizing people. Yeah. My learning to be a hypnotherapist qualified the fact that, yes, I was hypnotizing people. Yeah. My ability as a teacher, I'm a teacher of Theta Healing too. I'm just not somebody who's a therapist of Theta Healing. I'm a teacher because I can see inside the body. So Theta Healing, I use my ability to see inside the physicality of the person. And so that was confirmed. Just all these things. So my modalities were a journey of my natural abilities that confirmed, one, I wasn't imagining it. Two, it is a proven science, because we're scientists. It's quantum physics. So, and then with with kinesiology, what it does is it puts everything I do, from the esoteric to the energy to the physical to the mind to the body, the spirit, all under one magnificent banner, and I love it.
Wow, that is so fascinating. So this might be a hard question to answer with all of those things, but if you were to say that you had one superpower, what would it be?
The fact that I'm a master channel, that's my superpower.
Awesome. So all of the other modalities really just complement that and all tie in together to get the best outcome for the client and for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to connect to people's consciousness, and to be able to deliver them their truth, I feel is the greatest gift that you can share and impart on another human being. Because, you know, when people come to me and, you know, this room, this space, whether it be through a Zoom call, whether it be by FaceTime, whether it be a telephone call, or whether they come here to me in person, all this space, the time is set up for their highest, best and good. So it is for them. I always ask people to be hydrated. I always ask people to write down their most specific questions, because sometimes we'll start off on a journey and it'll just take off on a story of its own, and we don't even touch on, oh, but I haven't asked my questions yet. So it's set for the highest need, and we're multi-layers. You know, you'll find on a healing journey that once one layer has been lifted, that you've opened up to another part of who you are. So you need to understand yourself more. One of my greatest gifts is mentoring people. I mentor people, and I also can read light language.
Yeah, that's what's on the wall behind you.
Yeah, so this is the prayer. Yeah, it's fascinating. It's light codes of ascension of from the beginning of time up until now into the future. So it's a perpetual evolution that talks.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. So yeah, I just love what I do with passion.
That will be the subject of another interview, if that's okay with you. I'm sure we've got lots more things to discuss, but we keep it to one topic at a time. So, all right. So now I'm going to ask you then, we're dealing in the health and wellness space. So what are the biggest mistakes that you feel that people make from your experience when it comes to their health and wellness?
Well, the biggest, is it a mistake? See, we're all on a journey of learning and evolving. So it's not a mistake, it's a choice.
Yes. Good point.
It's a choice. So the choices that the biggest choices that people don't make is they don't choose themselves.
Yes, 100% agree with that one. Definitely.
Yeah. So and because I do an analogy of a Christmas tree, and I ask people to draw a Christmas tree and put presents underneath it and decorate it, and then I'll just say, where are you on your Christmas tree? And some people are at the bottom, some people are at the side, some people aren't even on their Christmas tree. And then they'll ask them where they put their work and all these sort of things. And sometimes, you know, you might be here and your work's there and that's there, or your work's here, your children's there, your partner's there, everything else is above you. Well, so you're only in charge of what's below you. So whatever you put above you puts pressure on you.
Wow. That's a beautiful analogy. I love that.
So I always aim to get people to be the star on their tree, because when you're the star in your tree, everything else underneath you is in perfect balance.
Yes. Oh, that is beautiful. We want to be the stars on our Christmas tree.
Yeah, and that's not being selfish, because you've got to remember that every single one of us is a leader, and we need to choose ourselves first, because at 55% of how people read us is our body language. only 7% of it is our word.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're being watched all the time. We're being watched on social media. We're being watched in our actions. We're being watched by what we do or we don't do for ourselves, by our children, by our tribes, by our colleagues, and by those that want to emulate us. Yeah. So you're always a leader, and you need to lead from the highest point, the zenith.
So I feel like yes.
You do like that? That's
yes,
good.
I love that. And I feel like that is actually the answer to the next question, which was, what are the steps they need to take for their best health and wellness? So, correct me if I'm wrong, that would be putting yourself as the star on the Christmas tree.
Yeah, well, it's a mindset change, you know, because we need to change habits, and we need to do that one step at a time. So it's okay for someone to say, well, okie dokie, this is where you need to be. But you need to give people skills to get there. Yeah. Because, you know, people need to change habits, and people need to, you know, let's for 1 month, because it takes 1 month to change a habit. 6 weeks, 1 month to change a mindset, 6 weeks to change a habit. So when I'm mentoring people or when I'm helping coaching people, we just do maybe one thing at a time. If they can bring in something else during that time, congratulations, you're doing fantastic. But these things have to become habits. And once they become habits, you've got a lifetime shift, which is amazing, because that's what you want. You want everyone to be their most magnificent. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely speaking my language, 100%. So then what would be one action step that somebody could take that's going to help them do that? Say they're walking away from this episode and they want to do one thing that's going to get them closer to that. What would that one thing be that you would advise?
Okay. Now, most of us function on a 5-day week and a weekend off, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So based on that, I would get a diary. 99.9% of all people I know, the first thing they do in the morning, after they've been to the toilet and had a drink or had a wash, they put the kettle on.
Yeah.
They put the kettle on. And when they put the kettle on and they make their cup of tea or their coffee or whatever they have, I would have a journal, and I would maybe sit in quiet contemplation. This only takes 5 minutes. Yep. So find a quiet place outside with as many elements as you can, or in a beautiful safe space. And I would just close your eyes and ask of yourself, what can I do for myself today that is going to make my day better?
Awesome. That's okay, beautiful. So if anybody would like to connect with you further, Beth, do you have anything coming up that they can jump on and get involved in?
Yeah, absolutely, Shari. I have, on the 20th of October at the Hinterland Hotel in Nerang downstairs in the conference rooms, I have Healing Souls Connect. That's a monthly meetup. And next month, we're going to be doing light language and light codes and some toning. So it's going to be very exciting. Yeah. And I have my special guest presenter, Slavicia. I cannot pronounce Slav's last name, so please forgive me. Because Slav writes all this beautiful, she gets a light code downloads, and by some God-given gift, I'm able to read it. So there aren't many people in the world that can read light codes, although more are coming through, which is really exciting. And and that's going to be amazing. And in November, the 28th, I'm having an expo, a 1-day expo at the same place, which is the Hinterland Hotel in Nerang. But Healing Souls Connect is a monthly, 3rd Tuesday of every month. Awesome. So that's really exciting. And of course, they can find me on Beth Elaine Haynes on Facebook.
Awesome. Okay, so I'll put all of the links in the show notes for anybody who wants to connect with you further. Do you, for anybody who's not on the Gold Coast, do you work with people online as well?
I work with people all around the world, Shari, which is an absolute privilege. Usually through this format, Zoom, or by FaceTime or telephone, but Zoom's just an amazing medium. So absolutely, or from everywhere. So I'm just so blessed. I've got some amazing clients.
Awesome. And what kinds of people come to you? What issues do they usually come to you for?
The majority of people that usually, it's 50-50. It's either business people or it's people seeking guidance and answers. But everyone's seeking guidance and answers. And 99.9% of people want to connect with themselves.
Yeah.
Because every single person wants to know their truth.
Yes. And sometimes that can be hard to figure out, can't it?
Yeah. And sometimes, sometimes you have to be the hard taskmaster. Sometimes you have to be the person that, wields the heavy sword, or is, because every person's truth is their own.
Yeah.
So sometimes you need to deliver the truth in silk.
Okay.
Other times you have to deliver the truth with stone. Some days are diamonds, some days aren't. So it just depends on the highest need of the client when they come. Sometimes people just need to have that beautiful Reiki healing. It's completely individual.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So if somebody's listening to this episode, and what would be the one thing that you want them to walk away knowing?
That they are loved always. That the universe will step up to support you when you support yourself, and that you are never alone, ever.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. That is a beautiful way to end this episode. Thank you for joining us today, Beth.
Oh, Shari, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so very much.
All right. And for anybody watching, make sure you check out the show notes, and we would love if anybody has any questions, please ask away and give us feedback and comments. We love to read them. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, Shari. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. Remember to check out the show notes, and if you have any comments, feedback or suggestions, I'd love to hear them. If you've received value from this podcast, make sure to subscribe, and I'd love you to rate and review the show. Have a fabulous day.